we can only say a massive good morning to Sarah Pochin, who is pining for Mike Graham, aren't you?
I am rather, but he is taking me out for lunch tomorrow.
And you want me... Sorry, can I take you out for dinner then? Is that acceptable?
Well, I've been waiting for that invitation. I think the viewers are getting quite bored with the amount of times you promised.
Should Mike and I should we not just have a three-ball and we can share the bill? Trigger warning!
I don't like threesomes. It's never been my thing.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. You've got it straight from Sarah Pochin. Good morning. Thank you for coming on. I know how busy you are, of course. I'm hosting the Reform Party conference, a lot of television and stuff. So looking forward to seeing you in Birmingham, Mike, at the weekend. All right, it'll be fun. When we woke up this morning and we saw this headline, the Father Ted arrests Graham Linehan. My point, Sarah, on a serious note, was that I don't want to get involved right now about the rights and wrongs of a debate, because I believe in free speech. I have my own views on the transgender situation. I've said them very closely. But this is a man who was a comedy genius, to be honest, who somehow found himself in the middle of this debate some years ago and has literally lost his marriage, his career, his friends, his family and his income. He's relocated to the United States of America. It's had an impact on his mental health. He arrives back from Arizona and is met by 5 armed gun cops over 3 what are called anti-trans tweets. He's thrown into a prison cell. He has a panic attack. He ends up in hospital. Yesterday, our Prime Minister said, and I quote, "This is an operational manager for the police. But we want to be clear, we believe their priorities should be on crime and policing antisocial behaviour, shoplifting and street crime, which goes against absolutely everything that they haven't managed to do in 13 months. I'd love reforms and your specific take on what I think is an outrageous example, again, of two-tier policing, Sarah.
Yeah, look, absolutely. If only this government was as good at policing our borders as it is at policing our speech. The way it's going in this country, people like you and I won't even be able to have the conversations we're having now and expressing the views freely that we have, because, you know, we'll be arrested by 5, what it was, armed police, like this poor chap. How very, very stressful. And do you know what? In my constituency of Runcorn, I have 2 people that this happened to over ill-advised tweets, but nothing terrible. Who, again, one of them has lost his partner, his girlfriend, lost his job, and it goes on and on. The impact on people's lives of this ridiculous policing of our speech, it is now got to the point where, it's actually quite frightening. Reform's policy, of course, is to repeal this ridiculous Online Safety Act, which just does nothing to protect children, which the name suggests, but does everything to stop our free speech.
It's interesting because Reform's position, Nigel's position and yours as a party has been attacked by Labour, who say your opposition to that online safety bill is tantamount to you not caring about the protection of children, which is very interesting. But for me, I'm interested. You were a magistrate for 20 years. You know justice inside and out. I've already opened a book on when Reform win the election, whether you'll be the Home Secretary or the Justice Secretary. So I'll have a few quid if you give me some inside information. But am I wrong here? If the Prime Minister, with a majority in the House of Commons, is responsible for introducing legislation which becomes a law on the statute book, even if the police are independent, which I don't believe they frankly can be seen as anymore, why is he not bringing in laws that imply, or rather make it known, that that's what this government wants the police to do? Why does this government seemingly get involved in stuff that it shouldn't and turn a blind eye or make some human rights excuse not to get involved when it should?
Well, absolutely. Why is he interfering? A Reform government will bring back core, hardcore, basic policing principles, and that is to arrest criminals, to investigate crime, not to be 5 policemen to be dispatched to arrest one man for some comments that he's made. We will put an end to this whole woke policing nonsense, and I guarantee you, Jeremy, that this is exactly what police want. Police don't sign up for all of this nonsense.
So where's it coming from, Sarah? Is it coming? This is a bit I don't get. Is it coming from their bosses? Is it coming from the government? And who the hell, by the way, I mean, people keep laughing at me this way. Is there a little office underground somewhere? A bunch of Karens, you know, on computers go, quick, phone the Met. Graham Linehan's wrote this tweet. Who's policing it? Or have we got small-minded people enough in this country who have got bugger all else to do but phone up and drop people in it?
Look, surely the remit of the police comes directly from the Home Secretary. And as I say, under a reformed government, the police will go back to policing and not this nonsense. The police will go back to catching criminals and protecting citizens on our streets and in our communities.
I wanted to ask you a question next about a huge story that's hit the newspapers this morning, that Britain is financially in the most perilous position it's been for 27 years, borrowing at an all-time high. We can't afford the interest on the debts. And it led me to sort of thinking along with the gang, you know, the person that we've got in charge is Rachel Reeves, Richard III, Rachel Thieves to her friends, an economist. I think she's out of her depth. So yesterday, Dreary Starmer instigated a reshuffle, and I sort of thought she was sidelined, OK? What I've heard now is that she was told to go out and, you know, talk to perhaps people that would be able to understand, or would she be able to understand their questions? So she went to talk to some school children. Have you seen this clip, Sarah Pochin?
I haven't. Please do show me.
This is the Chancellor of the Exchequer, ladies and gentlemen.
I've been hearing about you in the news that you like taxes. If you had 3 wishes, what would it be?
Oh my goodness. To answer your questions well, to make sure that all children have a good start in life, and for my own children to give me less chat back. I don't think that third one's going to come true.
If you could have another job, what would that be?
Oh, well, what I'd really like to be is Beyonce, but I don't think I'm ever going to be Beyonce. So before I became an MP, I worked in finance. I worked in banks and financial institutions. So I guess that's what I would go back to doing. But at the moment, I'm doing the job that I want more than any other job. I'm in charge of the country's finances. All right? Yeah, you happy with my answers? I get a high five. Hey, very good.
Complete silence from me as we hone in on Sarah Pochin, Reform's MP. Speak to me. I mean, chat back. That's complete. Your back chat. You know, can't even get that right. Beyonce, are you having a laugh? This is the job I want. You've got your total, but honestly, I can't have it. I can't have it.
Well, Jeremy, I don't think she's going to be in that job for very long. She's already being undermined by the Prime Minister with his reshuffle and his removal of some of her team into his team. He clearly has no confidence in her. The country has no confidence in her. And she certainly would be very lucky to get a job back in finance, as she indicated there. But on a serious note, you know, the country, the borrowing now costs are at an all-time high. Well, at the highest they've been for nearly 30 years. The interest rate now is 5.72 on 30-year government borrowing. You know, we cannot sustain this situation. There's a 20 to 30 billion pound black hole. They don't even know how many tens of billions they need to find. She's got no grip on the economy whatsoever. But the point is, this next autumn statement, this budget that we're all dreading, aren't we? We know that the only way she can fill that gap that she has, and it's been a gap that they made themselves with their prolific public sector pay increases the minute they got into government. But the only way they can fill that gap is by increasing taxes of hardworking people. We know there's going to be a mansion tax or a wealth tax, whatever you want to call it. We know that there will be stealth taxes by not raising the threshold for income tax. We suspect that she will go after the pensioners once again, go after the pensioners. And I would imagine that the taxes she said she wouldn't touch when she came into office will be affected.
Oh, no, you can't. No, that's very unfair. You're not telling me you can't believe it. They did say they wouldn't raise no income tax, no VAT, no money. But no, don't be ridiculous. Now, listen, we will get slightly lighter-hearted, but this is very serious because Labour have announced, right, that they're taking your boss Farage on. OK, small boat migrants are going to be housed in warehouses under a Labour plan to shut asylum hotels fast. I don't know where these warehouses are going to be. I don't know who's going to put them up. I don't know if they're going to come from IKEA. But the one thing on a serious note that's pretty obvious, having been here across the summer, and you've been amazing, you've been on, weekly. So many of the MPs have been away, and it struck us that whether you love him or loathe him, whether you agree with Nigel Farage or not politically, he really has managed to grasp the moment from the British people and prove and show that he's actually not just got their ear, but he's got his finger on the pulse. Everybody else seems to be playing catch-up. He's being proactive. Kemi Beg, not drill, baby Bajil, 12 months too late. And now Starmer playing catch-up to a man who's only got 4 MPs. Very interesting.
Well, it is, and you'll see for yourself this week, I was going to say next week, but this week at our party conference, Jeremy, how we have utterly got the backing of the British people now, because Nigel is the only one that is prepared to tackle this problem. And this latest stuff today about let's move migrants into a warehouse somewhere. Look, let's not move them anywhere other than out of this country. Reform will identify, detain and deport all illegal migrants. This government will not say that, although I have to say they are edging closer to reform rhetoric on a weekly basis. And
that's a really interesting thing. Let's get your take and Reform's take on the other major debate story this morning, which is ID cards. There's much talk that, Macron, the little Frenchman with the wife who's 104, I don't know why I did that, he apparently is pressurising Starmer to bring in ID cards. First muted, of course, by Tony Blair when he got into power. And it's a real split in terms of people texting and calling this morning. Some people are going, hold on a minute, we've got NI cards, we've got passports, we've got driving licences. This is just the government doing their best to find out more about us. Others are saying, no. For me, it's really simple, and you touched upon it there. This isn't about a population that already pays its tax and are registered. This is about illegal people coming to this country. We don't know where or who they are because they throw their papers in the sea. They come here and disappear into the black economy and are working and getting away with it. They need to be identified. I fear that if you instigate an ID rule for the entire population, that then flies in the face of free speech and common decency and all those things that we all care about, right?
Yeah, look, Reform have always been very clear. We are against introducing digital ID cards. We feel it is yet another infringement on our civil liberties by this government, who are already, as we talked about, clamping down on our ability to express an opinion. And this is just another step towards clamping down on our civil liberties generally. If we had a government that we had confidence in, that we knew put the priorities of the British people first, then maybe people's views will be different. But the fact is, Keir Starmer is trying to position the ID card as a way of controlling and identifying illegal migrants working in the black economy. But Jeremy, we both know that employers of people, of illegal migrants, they know they don't have any papers. They know they're illegal. Then they're having an ID card and just being saying, well, where's your ID card? And they say, we haven't got one. That's not going to change anything. This is a whole organised world of crime, this black economy and the way these people work. Having an ID card is going to make absolutely no difference to that at all. What it will do will impact the civil liberties of people like you and me.
Very interesting. Now, listen, I'm slightly shocked this morning on the interview. You haven't got a flag behind you. I'm going to go back to yesterday because I want to see your reaction. It seems to me that the Prime Minister came back for his reset phase 2.
Oh, give me a pillow.
Oh, she's waving. Phase 2.
No, I'm just getting my... Look, this is my pillow.
Good girl, very nice. I bought one of them in the Sandringham. I went to Sandringham the other day in the shop there, lovely. But here's the thing. So he came back yesterday, Starmer, and first day, there's Yvette Cooper talking about illegal migration. Didn't give any numbers and was quite woolly, but there you go. And then there was this extraordinary diktat that's obviously come from number 10, which is just start talking about flags. All of you, for God's sake, just show that you're proud of a flag. Did you see Yvette Cooper on BBC Breakfast? I'm sorry, this is worth repaying. Suddenly, Yvette Cooper has been in bloody Blackpool. Have a watch.
We actually have Union Jack bunting on our garden shed at the moment. I've got St George's flags, I've got St George's bunting, I've got the Yorkshire Rose bunting as well. I've got Union Jack flags and tablecloths. We've got the lot. I've even actually got some Yorkshire tea bunting, which is probably taking things a bit far.
Sarah? Help me.
My goodness, doesn't it sound pathetic? We don't care about her token Union Jack bunting on her garden shed. Oh, and by the way, her colleague Emily Thornberry, I'm sure, will be less than impressed with her St George's flags, because we all remember her comments about that in the White Van Man. But the point is, we want to see the Union Jack flown on all public buildings, on all government buildings, not alongside the Palestinian flag, not alongside the black and white flag of Islam. The only flag that will be flying when Reform are in power on public buildings, government buildings, is the Union Jack.
Final thoughts. We will definitely see each other this weekend after Mike's taken you for lunch. The Green leader, Zach Polanski, I'm told is no relation to Roman Polanski. He literally used to, this is reported in The Sun today, Sarah, don't be shocked, used to be a hypnotherapist who used to teach people that if they closed their eyes and dreams, their boobs would get bigger. Esther McVeigh from The Tories said that she reckoned that he's hypnotised the entirety of the Green Party, which is how he got elected. It's an unbelievable story, isn't it?
Well, absolutely unbelievable. Doesn't it just sum up the Greens? I mean, if they're not sort of campaigning and marching with the pro-Palestinian lot, then they're talking about boobs, for goodness sake. But yeah, maybe I'll try it. You know, I've never been particularly well endowed. I might have to get myself hypnotised. I don't know.
Trigger warning, please. Trigger warning. We can't have an MP talking about her own boobs. Listen, love the bones of you.
You brought it up, Jeremy. You brought it up.
Well, yeah. Listen, love you having you on. Really looking forward to seeing you this weekend. Thank you so much indeed. What's a boob? I love the headline. Sarah Pochin, Runcorn's MP, of course, for Helsby from Reform.